Welcome. Good Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Tennessee Valley this morning. Glad you're with us. My name is Matt Ryerson. I'm your Tuesday morning host. This is my co-host, Matthew Tolbert.
The Beatles to your Rolling Stones.
The Beatles were bigger than the Rolling Stones.
Well, I don't know. See, that's always the debate. Is the Rolling Stones, am I the Rolling Stones? Well, maybe the Beatles to your Rolling Stones, if the Beatles were bigger, that would make sense. I'm bigger than you are now. You've lost like 55 pounds.
I have, man.
So
yeah.
That would make sense.
Okay, I can go with that.
But you're looking good. You're kind of resembling Joe Palo a little bit.
Yeah, we had a different technique in getting there.
Yeah.
One of our co-owners and producers of the show here, Joe Palo, lost like 412 pounds or something
like that. That's close. I mean, it was difficult getting him through the door beforehand, but now it's not a problem.
Yeah, I lost, as you said, 55 pounds, which I'm really excited about. And mine was primarily through a weight loss competition, which resulted in me eating healthy. That was a unique proposition for me. And exercising also somewhat unique. So
what we know is Joe sat, ate potato chips, and watched television and just lost a bunch of weight.
Yes.
So I don't know how that worked for him, but good on you for doing it the way you did it.
The hard way.
Yeah, I guess.
You talk to Joe. So, but it's nice to be back. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been, yeah.
Sarah was here. She's going to be joining us later today, I understand, as our entertainment correspondent. That should be good. But actually, last week at this time, I was literally in Dollywood.
Literally in Dollywood?
Have you been to Dollywood?
I've been to Dollywood. Yes, I love Dollywood. You're at Festival of Nations right now.
Yeah, so it was Festival of Nations. And if you haven't had the opportunity, there's stuff for all ages. My youngest, the 3-year-old, had a blast. My wife and I had a blast. And there's a lot to do there. We didn't even get to see all the shows and everything.
There really is. Because they got shows, they got rides, they got kiddie rides for little kids. They got, it's a blast. Some really good shows, too.
Yeah, and that's what we've heard, and we didn't get to see them. We're going back later this summer. But so we walk into the park, and we kind of go off into this canyon, timber canyon place. And there's this it's fairly new, this big wooden roller coaster called Thunderhead. Massive. Up to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Huge steep drop-offs. My son, who's only 5, says, I want to go on that, Daddy. And I'm like...
Is he big enough?
Well, that's the biggest thing he's been on this point is those swings that kind of just...
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, no, son, that's probably a little too much. And he's like, no, I'm really... And he's insistent. So I'm sure he's not tall enough. So I said, you know what, I'd let you, but you're not big enough. And Heather, my wife, says... Well, there's this thing over there. I haven't measured. And I'm
thanks a lot, Heather.
Yeah, I'm going, okay. So I walk over there. I'm certain he's not tall enough because this is a violent, fast roller coaster.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he clears it by 2 or 3 inches. And he's like, let's go. Like, there's no excuse. And I'm talking to him.
So you have to go now.
So I'm literally trying to scare my kid going, oh, this is bad. You're just scared. No, I want to go. So, yeah, I end up going.
And it shakes you around, too.
It does. My wife's pregnant, so my job is to ride the rides. Yep. And I used to be a roller coaster guy. Not so much anymore. A little queasy on the fast moving. But nonetheless, I said, all right, I'll go. And I'm certain this will stop the ride conversation for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It'll be done with it. We get on this roller coaster. There's no line. We get there right when the park opens. Fly. I mean, it just... It goes up, and then it's just
those are the most ominous sounds in the world.
Oh, yeah, and my son has no idea what's coming.
Because he's never been on one.
What's that noise? And I'm going, we're going up to your doom. I didn't say that, but I felt like saying that. And
I'm going to be scary, son.
Yeah, I'm pulling that seatbelt because he's little. And I'm like, this kid should not be on here. And I'm sure there are other parents going, why is that dad bringing that kid?
Yeah.
So if you had to deal with him, you'd bring him too. So we get to the top of this hill, flying down and zipping around. And I mean, it's jerking us. And a couple times, I finally just pry my head to look over at him. He's got a total look of terror. I mean, his hair's back, and he's got this look like,
oh no.
my, stop this thing. Part of me is like, he's not going to puke, is he? You know, we're all over. We come to the end after about 2 minutes of this ride.
Yeah.
And it stops, and the first thing he says is, Daddy, is it over? Are we going to go fast again? And I said, no, son, it's over. It's over. And then I recognized that there's this fear on his face and his heart. So I'm like, good job. We made it. High five. High five. Woo! And he high fives, and you could just see the smile of relief. So we get off, and I'm like, I can't believe you did it. That was so awesome. And I'm going, we're not going to have to ride another ride all day. We literally get out, and he turns to me and says, Daddy, I want to ride again.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what? And my wife's like, go ahead, there's no line. And I'm like, I can't do it. So we rode it again. Rode it twice, back to back. This 5-year-old.
And he likes it.
He's crazy. I mean, he is fearless.
Right up the hill from there is like, I don't know what it's called, the mine shaft? Or
Yes.
It's like, did you ride that one?
No.
That one is
It literally
intense.
has like a 90-degree drop.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not kidding.
straight down.
It goes straight down.
And you go straight up and then straight down.
And I'm not kidding you, folks. It's literally locked on the tracks. It's just one car. This thing literally it's straight down. I've never seen anything
So
like it.
I went to something over this weekend. I love Dollywood. I went to something over this weekend that's kind of like Dollywood.
Yes.
In Atlanta. IKEA.
IKEA. I haven't heard of it. What is this?
IKEA is a Swedish furniture home store from Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah. And the way it is it's fairly inexpensive,
Okay.
self-assembly type furniture, but it's really high quality furniture, and the designs are really cutting edge and really new and really so. Apparently, everybody loves these, but IKEA is an event. You go into this store and it's gigantic.
They got turnstiles.
I'm serious. You go in and they're like escalators up to, and then you open up and it's like there's music playing and there are like people putting leis over your heads, and I mean not exactly, but that's how it feels. But literally, you walk through and it's like a journey.
Yeah.
It's like going through It's a Small World down at Disney World, and every single area they have these rooms set up with their furniture. And you could go in there and live for like a weekend if you wanted to. You could lay down. They have like 375 square feet, and it's like a complete room with a kitchen and a bed and the whole thing. You could basically do anything in this place, and you go walking through, and it literally is like a ride.
So, what'd you get?
I got some curtains, and that was it. I'm not going to spend a lot of money down there. Oh, my goodness.
But we spent the whole weekend.
We didn't spend the whole weekend. No, we just went there on Sunday. We saw some friends.
We took the first bedroom we saw moved right in.
We down Saturday, saw some friends, and then on Sunday we went to IKEA. But it is a pretty big event. If you get the chance to go down to Atlanta and go to IKEA, you don't have to spend any money to get in there, which is great. But you will want to. We're actually going to buy a bed because we're having a son in June,
right? And
so we're getting a bed for my daughter.
Nice.
So we're going to get an IKEA bed for my daughter.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and there's like playthings for the kids to go play in the little children's area, and yeah.
I've heard the furniture is
no rides, but
but on the upside, like you said, it's free to get in.
That's true.
The counter is Dollywood is not.
And they do have these cinnamon buns, just $1.
Man,
they are so good, so good. And I got myself some lingonberry jelly.
Lingonberry,
which apparently is Swedish.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
Tasty. Which, had you won the lottery, you could have bought the store out. Did you hear about this lottery?
I did hear about the lottery. Actually, I got a Things That Matter over the lottery, too.
$640 million.
Yep.
Upwards of $1 billion.
You know how many people won, right?
Yeah, I did.
You
I won. I'm making that announcement here.
And you are still on this show with
that's how much I
$640 million.
That's how much I love our audience.
Yeah.
So committed.
3 people won.
Yeah, I
3
heard
tickets.
That. So they had to split that. Is that the downside? You're like, oh,
yeah,
bummer, man. Now I got to split my $640 million.
640. So I get what? 200 and what? $13 million.
Yeah, when it's broken down, taxes and everything, they said the cash payout, if they pick a one-time cash payout, it's gonna be about $100 million. They're gonna walk away with only $100 million.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. It's depressing.
It's hardly worth it
Almost not.
to buy a ticket for $1.
You know what's on right now?
What's that?
Right, and I'm not saying to change the channel. In fact, it's not on right now because it's not quite 7 o'clock here.
That's good.
Coming on at 7 o'clock, Katie Couric is back on morning television.
I heard that.
She's on GMA this morning. Good Morning America.
I heard that.
She's a guest.
Did you see the little spot, the little trailer they did for the show?
Yeah.
She sat down with George Stephanopoulos,
Yeah.
and George says, "Welcome, Katie." She says, "Good to be here, Matt."
I didn't see that. That's good.
Good to be here, Matt. And he says, "What?" She says,
talking
"Oh, I'm
about
sorry,
us.
George." It's
Matt
hilarious.
Lauer.
Matt Lauer. He used to be on Today Show. Yeah.
And the Today Show to counter this.
Oh, what are they gonna do? 'Cause they were mad. I found out they were mad about this.
They were mad. So this is great. They were bringing in Sarah Palin to guest
Oh
host
my
on the Today Show.
goodness!
I mean, of course, we all know the Katie Couric.
That Katie Couric, Sarah Palin
of
thing
Sarah
in the
Palin.
campaign. Yeah.
Oh man, that was a real.
That's.
jab
I
back.
did not hear that. That's great.
So at 7 o'clock, I wouldn't change the channel. Probably just not going to get heated until like 7:30.
Probably not. No.
No, so just stay with us and you know, hear the highlights.
So did you watch the NCAA game last night?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Crazy.
Not as good as the game on Saturday night between Kansas and Ohio State. which
That
was
was a pretty
unbelievable.
good game because Ohio State was winning the whole game.
Yeah.
And then Kansas comes back at the end.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee one thing: the winner of last night's game begins with a K.
It does. You are right on the money.
Absolutely.
Did you? I just saw this report yesterday. Worst cities for allergies in the entire United States.
How does Cleveland, Tennessee rank?
Well, you had to have a population of over 100,000. Of course, Cleveland, Tennessee is
So what?
under
Chattanooga
that.
then?
Chattanooga was number 7.
Seriously,
Yeah.
number 7.
Yeah.
That's high. I didn't expect that.
Knoxville was number 1.
Oh yeah.
So if you do the math, Knoxville north of us, Chattanooga just to the west of us.
we
south
are
of
the
us,
worst place in the nation.
We're right there. We're right there. So if you're suffering with allergies like my wife is this morning,
My daughter is too.
you're about in the right. There's a reason for that. So, and then this past weekend, I don't know, Sarah may bring this up. Hunger Games was number 1 at the box office.
Again.
Have you?
We
seen-
talked about Hunger Games last week a little bit. She actually got to see it. No, I think she saw it. I can't even remember
Have
if
you
she saw
read
it.
the books?
I've not. No, I want to.
I have, and I'll just tell you, if you like a good story about children murdering children,
Yeah,
these are the books for you
that's fantastic.
because that's essentially what this means.
That's
These
I
books are
do like
not-
books about children murdering children.
I mean, I hate to sound hard, but that's
I prefer books like children murdering.
That's the foundation of this story.
Adults murdering children, I don't like so much, but children murdering children.
Somehow we
that's
can
pretty
get
good.
our arms around that one. I don't
Kind
know.
of going back to the whole Lord of the Flies days.
It is. If you read Lord of the Flies, back in
Yeah.
the day, it is a very similar tone.
Is it really?
It has a. I make light of that, and I shouldn't. It does have a storyline behind it, but.
Now,
you know, I
did
had
you see the
trouble-
movie?
I had trouble getting. No, I will go see the movie. I've read.
Because
all
I want to
the
know
books,
the
so.
difference. Is Hunger Games better than Twilight? Because it beat Twilight
is.
in the first weekend, but you're like this. You're a Twihard.
I'm not, but I.
You love Twilight. You've like read all the books and watched all the movies, right?
I have not read all the books. I've seen all the movies.
You're an Edward fan. Don't tell me you're not an Edward fan.
First of all, I'm a Team Jacob guy. All right, but that being said, the movies were better than average and better than expected. I will just say that about Twilight.
You did say that it actually didn't have a lot of action, right?
It was a little
kinda
light
boring.
on the action, a little heavy on the romance. So
Now,
you
I
can
heard-
tell that's probably not going to be
Probably,
my thing.
but I heard Hunger Games has a little bit more action.
Well, again, the basis of the story would
Children murdering
suggest
children.
that there's a lot of violence in this movie.
Well, all right then.
I haven't seen it, but my guess is going to be if they're adapting the movie anything to what the book is.
When you look in psychology, the basic fundamental needs, food, the most important need. So, Hunger Games, it's going to be compelling.
Yeah, it is.
all
And
about
if you read
hunger.
the book,
It's all about finding food.
the book of series is actually very fascinating. It's about a futuristic world, a post-apocalyptic, which of course we know a lot of movies have been based off
Sure.
of that. It's very fascinating what society might look like and how the morals of society.
There's like a
would be.
dictatorship.
Yeah, it's interesting, and they have control over food primarily,
Yeah, yeah.
and how they serve their citizens, and It's you know, and you can see it, you know, and it indicates that.
I wonder, is it going to be a little weird if you like take popcorn in the movie when it's not hungry?
Wow, that kid is starving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, folks, we have a great show today. We have Jilly Singerman.
Jilly?
Jilly Singerman.
Is that what she goes by? I thought her name was Jill.
By. It's Jilly.
Jilly?
Yes.
That's like jelly.
She'll be here to tell us herself from the Leonard Center at Lee University.
Jelly Singerman.
We're going to talk nicknames, running, snorkeling.
Lobsters?
Possibly lobsters.
I like to talk about
We also will have our own Sarah Anderson.
Yes, entertainment.
Always good to have Sarah.
She's got some good, bad, and ugly, I'm sure.
Yes, we're excited. And of course, the things that matter. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Discover great local programming right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Hyperbaric Services of East Tennessee is now open in Cleveland. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is an incredible treatment, clinically tested for a variety of physical and neurologic conditions, including autism, migraine headaches, even sprains and injuries. It is a simple, safe, and painless process that raises a patient's oxygen level, providing an array of health benefits. So whether you're dealing with a weekend sports injury, chronic condition, or looking for anti-aging, you owe it to yourself to explore what Hyperbaric Services can do for you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25, 30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. I get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
I tell you, don't make fun of William Lamb, Matt.
Love William Lamb. Welcome back, folks. We're going to take a quick look, a very quick look at the weather. Yesterday was scorching hot, man. Monday was hot.
Yeah, it was like 185 degrees yesterday.
It was. Today it's going to be hot again, considering it's only like April 3rd now. A little bit of rain. Tomorrow again, rainy, 84. Thursday, high of 77. But I tell you what I'm seeing about Easter weekend is it should be nice.
Yeah? It's going to be cooler, a little bit cooler. But there's a lot of rain for it being able to maintain the level.
I think the chances aren't, I think it's a chance of rain.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're watching this show for your weather report, then I don't know what to tell you because I'm not sure how accurate this is.
At any moment, it could pop up on the screen and just say very hot.
Yeah, I mean
it's not going to say
accurate.
After 6 years of school that I went to for meteorology, and I can't even say the word. So
you're no Patrick Core.
Yeah, if you're watching this, my guess is at this point, what few audience members we have left, they're not watching it for the news or the weather.
But they are watching it for Jilly.
That's right. We want to welcome Jill Singerman from Lee University. Jill, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here, guys.
We are excited to have you. Thanks for joining us. Of course, you do so much good work through the Leonard Center, Lee University. Why don't you just real quickly tell us exactly what is the purpose of the Leonard Center? What exactly is the service it provides, not only Lee University, but our whole community?
Sure. Well, at Lee University, we operate as the service learning hub. Every student that comes through Lee is required to do 80 hours of community service before they graduate. So our office helps set them up with community service projects, plugging them into the community, working with partners like at the United Way, Boys and Girls Club, organizations like that. So my role is to set up group projects, putting our classes and our clubs into organizations that need an extra hand. So basically, we're just looking for ways to reach out to our community here. We'll spread out into areas into Atlanta, Knoxville, Nashville, doing weekend trips called Urban Outreach. So yeah, basically we're just a service to our students to plug them into the community and whatever needs.
Service learning is a big deal there at the university, right? You have they have to, every single student has to do some sort of service learning.
80 hours before they graduate. So, and most students do well over that, surprisingly. Right. You hear 80 when you first come in, and it's kind of overwhelming, but surprisingly, the way we operate there, you're just involved in the community. That's how we want to get our students somehow plugged in as citizens here. So.
And a lot of them, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
A lot of them end up staying here.
Clearly, you're used to sitting in this chair.
I am.
I thought I was doing the interview.
It's a little weird having to look back and forth. It's throwing me off.
You go ahead.
It's like tennis.
I was gonna say is a little side note.
Don't allow me to interrupt you. Go ahead.
The students, you get them engaged in the community, and a lot of them end up staying here because of it.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. I was a Lee student, graduated in May 2010.
Sarah Anderson, Jennifer James,
my wife.
Your wife?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it is a great service, not just to the Lee University students, but the entire community. The services that are provided are absolutely extraordinary. What is the philosophy, though, behind service learning? What you're talking about is just volunteering, but it's a little bit more than that, isn't it?
True. Yeah. The theory behind service learning is basically giving students an opportunity to engage what they're learning in the classroom into the community and solving problems, seeing issues and finding a solution to it. So it's a chance for students to practice what they're learning. For example, I was a public relations major. So one of our final projects was to work with the regional intervention program and helping them to plan a PR campaign. So I'm taking everything that I learned over 4 years and implementing that and giving it to them in actual campaign form that they were then able to take and implement. So, and it's something that, I mean, we've seen results from that. I've seen them make some changes that we recommended and use some of our things. So as a student, you're actually able to get materials to show to future employers, build your portfolio, whatever it may be, but it's an actual learning process. It just increases I mean, that's where I learned the most about PR, was in that final project where I was practicing what I learned.
Wow. So in all fairness, it's more than sending them to the local park and picking up trash.
Absolutely.
These are meaningful opportunities that they have to contribute to. Not only their own development, but the community as a whole.
Absolutely, and forming relationships. One of the first experiences students have when they come to Lee is called Deek Day, and it's a part of their new student orientation, and they actually go out to local nursing homes, local or not so local. We send them to Athens and down to Chatsworth and all over, just because we have a lot of incoming freshmen. And they go and they just spend an afternoon in the nursing homes talking, having conversations, playing bingo, singing songs off key most of the time. So, just
not a Lee student.
I was one of the only Lee students that could not sing with a last name like Singerman.
I know, right?
Someone in my family had to be able to sing, but that
it's not
didn't
you.
get to me. No, definitely not.
Wow, that is disappointing.
Yeah.
I was wanting her to sing for us today because I figured Singerman was,
Exactly.
It's not gonna
Do you want to keep your viewers? That's my question.
Yeah, we got.
I'm sorry. What viewers?
Yeah, we're up to 9.
Oh well, it's just because of her, I guess.
Yeah. Charlie, thanks for joining us this morning. That brings us up to a total of 9.
Good to see you too, Alan.
Did you watch The Hunger Games?
I read the books. I haven't seen. Well, I read the first book halfway through the second one.
Is it really about hunger? Is it really all about hunger and eating and food and stuff?
Well, hunting is definitely an issue.
Government does a lot of rationing, and there's a lot of control, and so
Okay, all right. So you plan on seeing them?
I do. I do.
Our studio audience is now chiming in. I don't know what this is about.
Speaking
You
of
do not have a mic. You don't have a mic.
speaking of hunting, all right.
Oh.
Speaking of hunting, your family has a tradition of hunting, right? But it's a very interesting. What is this?
Yes, my fellow Kiwanian, I will tell you my story. Yes, my family every year has gone lobster diving in the Florida Keys. Just a family tradition, we will go free diving. So it's not with scubas and tanks. We'll just take a mask and snorkel, and you hold your breath, dive down about 25 feet.
And you spear them.
Not quite so violent. He's been watching The Hunger Games.
Grab them with the back of the tail.
You take a net. And
Oh,
you
it's
take
a net.
tickle stick.
I'm sorry, a what?
A tickle stick. So
I think I've experienced that before, but I'm not going to explain where.
So what you do is you dive down underneath and either find coral heads or rocks or ledges. He's stuck on the tickle stick. I'm not going to explain it.
So a tickle stick.
That's what it's called. If you go to a dive shop and ask them, they will probably not laugh at you. Maybe up here they
A
might.
tickle stick.
Yeah,
And you
that's what it's called.
catch lobsters.
And you do. And you take your net and your tickle stick and you push them out from behind because they walk out. You
in the
push them
rocks
from
and
the tail.
stuff. Thing.
Also, you're poking them and they're backing up going, whoa, what is this?
You tickle them,
You
and
tickle
as they
them
laugh,
because they're very
they swim.
skittish, and then they'll swim like this when they close their tail. So they swim backwards. So you want to knock them out from the back, I guess, and scoop them up in a net, flip it over real quick, and grab them because they're kicking around and getting
Where
out
are
of
you
your net.
from?
Florida originally. My roots
okay.
are in Florida,
All right.
Central
So
Florida.
how deep is the water that you have
Worried
to...
it was from Canada or something.
No.
It depends on how long you can hold your breath, really, but we'll do 20, 25 is where you get the bigger lobsters, but you can find them.
So you can hold your breath a long time
and
then. You're
8 foot.
talented like that.
Well, a little bit.
My ears pop at like 6 feet.
Yeah, you have to clear your ears. You have to.
How do you
That's
do that?
dangerous. Basically, you hold your nose and blow out till they pop or yawn. That works
Now
for
that
me.
I actually do that when I play when I ride a plane. I hold my nose and I like that.
I'm sure the person sitting next to you loves that.
They usually get uncomfortable.
The noises.
Which is actually
I think
fine. They
being-
leave and then I get
think
two
them
seats to
being
myself.
uncomfortable sitting next to you has nothing to do with
Strategy.
Jilly's going through it right now, isn't she?
It's time here.
I need to get a tickle stick is what I think I need. Could you get me one of those? That would be fantastic.
Merry Christmas. I'll work on
That
that.
would be great. I would love to see one
I
of
don't know
those.
what's happened. I was gone for 2 weeks, folks. 2
Oh
weeks.
my goodness.
Come on, is that not hilarious?
No, I understand it.
Of course, that's what my dad always told me to do. That.
Okay, so your dad's pulling one over on you so you can embarrass
Actually,
people like me on a
We're getting
TV
a
show.
text from one of our viewers. It is not called a tickle stick. In fact, as Matt suggested, that has a very different meaning. Just may want to adjust your conversations in the
Thank
future.
you.
Next time you're on live, semi-live television, just you should be aware. So
This is ridiculous.
to go back to the Leonard Center, which
Yes.
might be a reason you were here in the first place. You talked about community service. There's a lot of folks that are watching that have their own business or work for a local nonprofit, and they're saying, man, I could really use some help from a PR student or a team or whatever. How would they get a hold of you?
Basically, you can call our office. You can look on the Lee University website and go to the quick links in the Leonard Center, and there's all of our office information. And you can call and talk to really any one of us there, and it just depends on your case and your situation, what your needs are. You could talk to me directly, and I will plug you into that person. If you're looking for a class, Rochelle Mayberry works a lot with our service learning classes, and if it's going to be a long-term partnership, that's really the avenue that we probably take. Some kind of class or club partnership, which is really how I want to move things, is working towards let's collaborate on a long-term basis.
Yes.
I don't want it to just be an exposure and a one-time instance that you go and pick up trash. You know, let's form some relationships with people who are working in your organization and help our students engage with your organization, whatever your needs are, and help them learn what your issues are so that they can put their minds to how to solve a problem. So that's really what we're looking for.
You know what? We have a great need here to have a team of your students make us some tickle sticks.
At least fix us some lobster. I mean.
Oh, okay. Oh, do we have home ec? Campus Kitchens. That's one of our clubs, perhaps.
Oh, well, there we go.
go.
There we go.
That's an amazing
There we go.
organization.
Well, Jill, we appreciate you being patient with us.
Thank you.
And
Thank
more
you.
importantly, we thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
having me, guys.
Absolutely.
It was fun.
We really enjoyed it. So Stick with us, folks. We have Sarah Anderson coming up, which should be quite possibly just as entertaining in that next segment. So thanks again, Jill. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Discover great local programming right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25-30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. I get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
Very simple process, and it's well worth it.
Hello, I'm Dr. Gupta, and I'd like to introduce you to a valuable new healthcare solution here in Cleveland. Hyperbaric Services of East Tennessee is now open and accepting patients. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is an incredible treatment clinically tested for a variety of physical and neurologic conditions, including autism, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, migraine headaches, chronic fatigue syndrome, and even sports injuries and sprains. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a simple, safe, and painless process that raises a patient's oxygen level in the body. This increased oxygen level in our tissues and organs boosts the body's natural healing abilities and allows our bodies to function at a higher level. We will be happy to work in cooperation with your regular physician. However, referral is not required for this treatment. So whether you're dealing with a weekend injury, a chronic medical condition, or looking for anti-aging solutions, you owe it to yourself to explore what hyperbaric oxygen treatment can do for you or your loved ones. I invite you to contact us today for some more information.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Welcome back, folks. Appreciate you not turning the channel at this point. This is your Tuesday morning host, Matt Ryerson, with Matthew Tolbert, and of course the lovely, ever lovely Sarah Anderson.
Good morning, guys.
Thanks for joining us. I do have to say before we jump into entertainment news, we did a little Google search, which is the real name for the search engine on the internet, Google. Before you start saying
I'm not saying, that. I'm just saying.
And FloridaLobstering.com highlights that Tickle Sticks is the correct name for the lobstering tool that helps get lobsters in. So Jill was correct. She was right
So
on.
her dad was telling her the truth and everything else.
Yes. So
well,
we made her feel a little self-conscious.
I apologize to her for that. She was great. And actually what she does over at the Leonard Center is fantastic.
It's awesome.
But also the lobster diving, that is also fantastic.
Yeah, and actually that was slightly more interesting. Just kidding.
Don't tell William Lamb.
Just kidding. Well, Sarah, welcome.
Hi.
How do you feel relegated to that chair all the way over there?
It's weird.
I like it. I'm actually more comfortable in this chair.
You know,
I don't like the head switching.
I do want to thank you. I watched one of the shows.
Which one?
And you made Mr. Tolbert here sing "Oh Canada."
Yes, so good.
Which was wonderful. You know, he was once an international rock star.
Yeah, this
That's
is
a true
what.
story.
Yeah, where did you go? Did you go to Canada or Mexico?
I went to Canada.
Yep.
Yes, which is there's some irony
So
there.
technically, that's an international tour.
And by the performance on the show, you would have never guessed.
No, no idea that you actually spent time there.
Hey, now, I am not the only one out of the three of us who have made fun of Canada for the last, almost a year. And Sarah's not the other one, I'll just say that.
I'm not, that's true.
Well, it's funny that you sang that. I went to school at a school where hockey was very big.
Right, and you probably
played a lot of hockey as a youth, and we played against a lot and watched a lot of games with people who were from Canada. So in most of the games that I saw or participated in, they sang both national anthems. So I was very familiar with the Canadian national anthem. So as new as it is, as you pointed out, I think it was 19.
Yeah, it's not been around that long.
Sure.
And also, I just want to let you know, my aunt in Georgia watched that clip. She's been watching the show on YouTube, so she saw you, along with some of my friends have pointed out how great it was.
Oh, they liked my performance, or they liked my embarrassment?
I think probably both. Yeah, Jennifer James is lovely enough to
I'm
post
just
it on
surprised
Facebook.
that every time I see someone who is Canadian, that they're not wearing a whole lot of animal skins. That's the main thing. It's so weird to see people who just look normal.
Two things about that clip. If you haven't seen it, you got to go to the YouTube and look this up, Matt. And I think you could probably do search Matt sings "Oh Canada" and it'll come up.
I think so.
Two of the things, I love the fact that at one point Sarah jumped in with you.
Yes, she started singing.
I couldn't help myself.
It became a duet,
beautiful.
which I thought, wow, she sounds really good, which really offset Matt a bit, which was nice. The second thing I like is that she compared "Oh Canada," she was like, well, it was unofficial anthem, very much like Rocky Top. And I thought, wow, I wonder how the Canadians feel like Rocky Top.
I didn't even think about
national
that.
Anthem.
I actually told, so that's a very good point. She's comparing the national anthem of
for
Canada
an entire country to
UT's theme song.
To an Appalachian.
It's not UT's theme
well,
song.
it's UT's unofficial theme song.
No, it is UT's theme song. It is the state of Tennessee's unofficial theme song, which is what I was saying. Is that I wasn't saying.
So you're saying Tennessee is equal to Canada? Is what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying
is
how dare you
compare
that national anthem to our beloved Rocky Top? That's what I'm saying.
I did have somebody tell me that they would have rather me sing Rocky Top, which I totally was on board with.
That's the next bet right there. Get Matt to sing Rocky Top.
Next episode. Watch
so
for it.
Sarah, entertainment correspondent. We talked about Hunger Games. I don't know. That's probably not one of your things.
It's in there a little.
Okay.
It's always in there.
So let me throw it to you. Entertainment correspondent Sarah Anderson. What do you got for us today, Sarah?
Well, we have who was having the best weekend this past weekend. Taylor Swift. I think I would have to give it to her.
Why? What did she?
Okay, so she not only won American Country Music Entertainer of the Year with the ACM. This is her second year.
Okay.
In a row?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
which is a big deal.
Well, that means Carrie Underwood didn't have an album or something.
Oh, yes, that's a good point.
Which is exactly because Carrie, she's the only other female artist to have
done that.
And
Garth Brooks has been
Carrie.
retired for a number of years.
Well, and Carrie kind of acts like an adult. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Taylor Swift doesn't, but she's young.
That's what you sounded.
She's 22.
It sounds like
so.
It sounded really insulting.
You're contrasting the adult Carrie Underwood with.
Well, I was complimenting Carrie Underwood on her professionalism.
She is. Okay. More so. I would say more so. Yeah. Though
she doesn't wear pigtails all that much.
Though if you had watched it or seen any of it, you can go see red carpet photos from it, of course. Taylor she looks like a 22-year-old now, or even older perhaps. She's straightened her hair, which not that makes her look older, but it does, actually, surprisingly. And just is dressing more, it was very classy attire, which that event overall is more like that anyway. It's not your full ball gowns, but it's, so anyway. So she got that, and then in addition to that, the day before, it was Kids' Choice Awards for Nickelodeon, and she was given a major award by First Lady Michelle Obama, the Big Help Award, which was like the philanthropy award for that organization, which is really cool. Which I honestly, without that, I wouldn't have known. She apparently is very charitable, and she actually, in fact, was going to take a high school football player from New Jersey as her date to the ACM Awards, but he actually was hospitalized because he has cancer. So she was going to take him.
Take him, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've heard that about her actually.
Yeah.
And in preparation for the show, I did watch both shows to study up and be prepared for this interview. And I did note that Reba McEntire and her co-host, who is also a judge on The Voice,
Blake Shelton.
Yes, was it
Blake
Blake?
Shelton co-hosted the Country Music Awards, and they poked fun at Taylor a little bit about a date with Tim Tebow.
Yes,
That's what I was hearing about.
I heard that as well.
And Taylor Swift acted like she didn't know what they were talking about. That was this wild rumor in February, and she was like,
interesting.
I don't know what you're
I
talking
think that she and Tim Tebow should date, personally.
Okay.
Anyway, so speaking of Blake, though, another having a great weekend. Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert won for best male artist, best male vocalist, and best female vocalist. So their little couple.
Wow.
That's
They
a lot
should
of
date.
awards in one. Yeah, I know. Weird. That would work out.
Are
well,
they
right?
married? They are married.
They are married.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
And I actually.
Well, then they shouldn't date.
I actually
No, that'd be
know they
weird.
should probably just stay married with each other. I actually really like Blake Shelton on The Voice. He's a hilarious.
Yeah,
on
he's
The
great.
Voice. It's a good
I think
show.
he's the most entertaining
show,
out of them. And she actually, Miranda won her 3rd straight Album of the Year win as well for her album For the Record, which is huge. First of all, to be able to do 3
in 3 years, yeah.
That's impressive. And she
Pretty
still
good
is
ones.
releasing consecutively good music, at least in my opinion.
Good
There was
weekend.
also a wedding on stage, which is at the ACM Awards,
Yes.
which is strange.
Who was that?
Some random people, I don't know.
That was their dream to get married
Yes.
on the stage, and they got married, huh? Wow.
While Martina McBride sang, which was really interesting.
That would, you know, I tell you what, that would make a good photo album.
It would. I mean, it'd be a huge, but
suppose.
apparently it was very confusing for viewers and others.
I'm confused hearing about
yeah.
it, actually.
So back to the Kids' Choice Awards.
Yes.
Justin Bieber got slimed at it.
I
which
love
is
Justin
fun.
Bieber.
I know, and he's such a good sport about it, of course. But that's kind of an honor to be slimed. It gives you
Yes.
attention and all of that.
Apparently
that
his hair is
press.
going up now instead of down.
Yeah, it's supposed to look older, I guess.
Yeah.
It's I
Bieber
don't know how I
fever.
feel about it, but yeah. Everyone's still loving him. And then Halle Berry did, which that was random.
She got
I was
slimed?
surprised that she was there. Yeah, she got slimed in her seat. So I hope there wasn't too much residual spray.
I'm a fan
to
of
her
anything with
kids.
Halle Berry.
Collateral damage
personally.
out there
Of
with
course
the
you
slime.
are.
Halle Berry is
also
a
heard-
great actress and beautiful.
I also heard the first lady got slime.
Did she really?
Apparently, which I don't know how that
Yeah.
goes over,
if
but
she's
she's a
okay
good
with it,
sport.
you know.
Well, she's I think
What
it's
is in
traditional
green
for first.
slime? That's green slime. What is in the slime?
I
you know?
I would have to look that up.
That is a little
to let you
disturbing.
know.
I don't know.
Make
if
some
I-
calls, Sarah. Find that out.
I'll
for
find
us.
out for you. I'll get that.
That'd be great.
That info. And then, of course, Bieber, before getting slimed, got favorite male singer, and Taylor Lautner received favorite butt kicker.
Team Jacob.
Which is no, never.
Right.
Team Jacob.
Actually, yeah. If I had to choose a team out of those two, it would be Team Jacob. He's a little
Yeah,
more
man. I mean,
sane.
He's
and
more sane and he's hot.
He's hot.
I'm never big on the
Literally.
whole dark and mysterious.
Runs a little hot.
He runs hot. Because the wolves are all hot, whereas the vampires are all cold.
Yeah.
Pun. It was a pun.
Yeah, it was good.
It was beautiful. I like how you worked that in there and then had to explain it. It was good. So speaking of award shows, we also had the Golden Raspberry Awards this week.
Yeah.
What in the world is the golden
people.
Razzies?
The golden, yes, the Razzies.
Oh,
so the 32nd
okay.
There's a
annual
record setter in
golden,
this one.
Yes, there is. I'm so
I won't
excited.
steal your thunder, but I watched this one
So
as
the
well.
Golden Raspberry Awards were kind of like, it's the anti-Oscars. It's who was the worst.
Right.
Basically. And so we had a record was broken. The most nominations ever for Golden Raspberries were given to Adam Sandler to films he was associated with. Jack and Jill and Just Go With It.
Yes.
He won 10 of them.
10 Razzies.
How does that? I won't even bother. I was going to list
Does he
off
show up
everyone.
and
I
get
won't
the
even bother.
Razzies?
Yeah.
He shows up and
It's a big deal.
accepts
It's
them.
I mean, Sandra Bullock won for All About Steve.
I know. She
Right,
won the same year she won the Academy Award.
Blind Side,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah,
So,
that was also.
And
yeah,
Adam
a day
Sandler is
between.
laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, he still does
dude,
well.
They still. I watched Jack and Jill. My roommate rented it.
So
He's
if-
not a
not
good
even
actor.
worth-
So, folks,
No.
if you have an opportunity to rent this tonight at Redbox, you might want to go to the
Choose
next
something
one
else.
on the list.
I mean, it's not a. I don't want to say it's not a bad movie because I can't even make that statement.
Some
It's a bad
people
movie.
really like
But
Just Go
if
With
you
It.
enjoy that, well, yeah. I mean, I think.
You know,
some people
Adam
just like
Sandler,
Adam.
though, is an acquired taste, and he's hit or miss. You know,
Yeah.
you go back to watch Waterboy. which was
Yes.
could have been terrible.
It was a great movie.
But it just kind of flowed and it worked. And, you know, Jack and Jill, I think, is one of those that's either going to be really bad or really good. And it was...
Well, and Happy
would say
Gilmore was
bad.
a great movie, too.
Well, there's another one. It could have been...
Those are old,
Yeah, it could have been really bad. And it was...
But then he's done some really bad ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like
but
I said, hit or miss.
he did some good, like, actual serious movies.
Big Daddy was
There
kind
have been
of
a couple, yeah, there were,
dramatic.
Like
yeah, there was
Spanglish.
some good. Spanglish was actually a really good movie.
And he was not a comedian in that movie. He was an actor in that movie.
Yeah.
And then he did another one called Punch Drunk Love that I thought he was really good in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
It's kind of, you're right, it is. But to his credit, he hit the ensemble of Jack and Jill did barely beat out the cast of Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1
For worst
screen ensemble.
Worst screen ensemble.
Which is for a movie, but you know, Twilight doesn't care because
yeah,
Talking about laughing all the way to the bank.
just a
Exactly.
little
They're
bit.
like, whatever.
Exactly.
But laughing even more so, not that they're laughing, but the Hunger Games, just to let everyone know, brought in $61.1 million this weekend.
Which
for their
means they're
second
over
weekend.
200
They're
million
way
for 2
over.
weeks.
That's something
insane.
else. That's something else. Have you seen it, Sarah?
Oh yes.
And what'd you
I
think?
saw it the day after, like the day
She talked
during the
about
day.
it last week
Oh
on
yeah,
the show,
obsessively,
but
kind
she
of.
loved it.
Did you read the book as well?
Yes, and the book's far superior, of course. But I think as far as an adaptation goes, of a book of that magnitude that has such a following.
Was it as good as Lord of the Rings? Because that was a really
Oh,
good
no.
adaptation.
You can't make that comparison though.
Is it like Star Trek? Because I like sci-fi.
Come on, no. Lord of the Rings was an adaptation of a book that people
Yes,
said
which
was
was a very
fantastic.
good yes, and I think Lord of the Rings will hold that, but it's such a different.
I'm going to do an unsolicited book review here. Read Hunger Games, 3 books in this series.
You've read all 3 of them?
I read all 3 of them.
Oh my goodness.
The first one I could not put down. Literally stuck to my hands for 2 days. Finished it.
It's
could not put it
wonderful.
down. The second one I found good, interesting, not nearly as compelling as this first one. And by the time the third book to me was really kind of like we've played this story out. One thing I didn't like in all seriousness is the main character in the book, they don't make her necessarily likable. She's kind of this fuming, angry, and it gets a little old. And by the end of the book, you're like, wow.
Kind of like Bella.
I do wish.
It kind of is.
I
And the
hate-
storyline to Hunger Games, at some level, parallels Twilight. You have this love triangle. You have the dark, fuming, kind of mysterious guy.
And they're fighting against
And then
some-
you have the good,
Yes,
nice,
that everyone
sweet guy.
wants him-
Yeah.
And
wants
they're
her to be
kind of
with,
on
yeah.
the same side. And the funny thing is, Twilight, she picks the dark, fuming, mysterious guy. In the Hunger Games, spoiler alert,
She picks the good guy.
she picks the good guy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I actually was like, yeah, Team Jacob kind of PETA. PETA's the character, by the way. I was
Yes.
rooting for PETA the whole time. And
I
I'm
do
like,
think there's more development of Gale
Yes.
in the Hunger Games, which is good. But I wish there'd been even more. And I do agree with you. I wish there'd been more redemption to Katniss's character in the third book, that she'd come more of her own and been
in fact,
less,
at the end of the third book, they end it, and again, spoiler alert.
yeah, major.
At the end of the third book, well, and this isn't a spoiler
People
alert,
should know this already, though.
but they
I mean,
they
come
kind
on.
of rush through it.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, and then they
here's
live happily ever
yeah,
after.
here's
You're like,
half
what?
the chapter to tell you what happened.
Yeah,
at
it's
the end
like
of
10
them.
pages, and this is
Well,
everything that happened the rest of her
yes.
life. You're like, what? That's crazy.
It's
3 books for
insane.
2 years, and the rest of her life is 10 pages.
It's kind of like watching the end of a movie and they just put this, and he went on to do this, and
Yeah.
he went on to do that.
It was,
and they lived happily ever
third
after.
book, I
think
was
the third book,
disappointed.
all of the Revolution stuff could have been done condensed a lot, and there could
Yes.
have been more follow up, because it's interesting, at least from a psychological perspective, you would appreciate this, to see the breakdown, how they all healed and how they progressed through that, because
Right.
here you've had this nation that's been split into these districts for generations,
Yeah.
and then suddenly
Yeah.
there's
all
this
better.
revelation and everything,
Right.
and this person got put in power because we overthrew these people, and it's just
It's-
it is
it
kind of a
is-
mess.
sounds like
It's
I have to read the
I
books.
love it.
All the books are
You
fascinating.
should. It'll be interesting to see how they make that play out, because there's no way a third movie could be.
It's not. I've already got the scoop on that, Sarah.
I've heard the
actually
second. Are they
scooped you.
doing the
They're
second and
doing
third
4
together?
4 movies.
4 movies. Are
4
they?
movies.
Yeah.
Of course
the
they
third
are.
book is
dragging
2
that out.
movies. Yep. That's more money. They just made $200 million.
That's what they do with everything.
Yeah, they did it with Twilight. They'll do it.
They did it with Twilight. They did it with Harry Potter.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm going to see Hunger Games, though. I'll admit it. I got to see it at this point.
Well, I'm going to read the books then.
The book is fascinating. I'm telling you, the first book, folks, I will say this as just kind of a proper, it is violent.
Yes.
And it is fairly graphic in the book. Now, you know, I think it's a realistic portrayal of war and violence, but, you know, there's some parts that.
And this is something some of my friends and I have been discussing recently. Actually, Chelsea Long and I had this discussion and she was on she was on last week talking about this, that it's interesting how we've gotten society to be so fascinated about that violence and about like, oh yes, come watch children killing children.
Right.
It's great.
But the nice thing about
they do a very good job in the movie, though.
They do, and they condemn it. Just so you know,
Yeah,
I make light of it. That they kind of point to this as this is a problem that our society has moved this direction.
Which I definitely.
Our society has moved that direction. Well, at least it's not tigers killing Christians. I think our society's been in that direction for a long time.
Yeah, well, exactly, and I think it's a play off that, you know, at some level. So,
Sarah, dystopian novels, that's the whole purpose of them anyway, is to show what is wrong, 1984.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah. Did you just put the Hunger Games on the level of George Orwell?
No, not at all. I was.
Just like George Orwell or Shakespeare,
Animal Farm.
Animal Farm. It's the exact
Bible.
same.
No, we already put it up there with Lord of the Flies.
There you go.
You know.
All right.
That is not my purpose by any means.
We're running really long. You got anything else for us?
I'm good.
All right. Folks, I appreciate that. Was great. Great coverage. Entertainment correspondent Sarah Anderson. Spectacular. Spectacular.
If I wasn't tied in, I'd stand.
Stick with us. We'll be right back. I think. Or maybe
and we're here again. And welcome back. We are.
Discover great local programming right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25, 30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. I get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
I'm Byron Winters with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Contact me for all of your business insurance needs. From general liability to workers' comp, commercial auto, and business umbrellas, Landmark Insurance has you covered.
Hyperbaric Services of East Tennessee is now open in Cleveland. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is an incredible treatment, clinically tested for a variety of physical and neurologic conditions, including autism, migraine headaches, even sprains and injuries. It is a simple, safe, and painless process that raises a patient's oxygen level, providing an array of health benefits. So whether you're dealing with a weekend sports injury, chronic condition, or looking for anti-aging, you owe it to yourself to explore what Hyperbaric Services can do for you.
Hi, I'm Brittany Jackson. Join me every Wednesday night at 6:30 and midnight where we will highlight local sports, chat with coaches, and discover new tips every week. Only on In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson.
Welcome back, Tennessee Valley. We're going to take a very quick look at the weather if you're getting ready for your day. It looks like it might be a little rainy, so you might want to grab your umbrella.
Yeah.
But don't wear anything warm because it's going to be hot.
Might keep
out.
it from getting like too hot though if it's got some rain.
It cool down. So we're going to see a high of 84 today. Yesterday was scorching hot. Tomorrow more of the same, 84 and rain. Thursday, potential rain, high of 77, cooling off. Then the weekend just looks wonderful. 70s and clear skies. It's going to be beautiful. So,
Cool.
How about Sarah Anderson?
She's sharp.
We should get her to co-host once in a while.
I know, right?
Hey, folks, real quick, WTNB is going to host this weekend, Sunday actually. They're going to have the First Baptist Easter program, which is the church I happen to attend. And they do a spectacular job in this weekend's program.
I've been seeing the signs out there up front.
Yeah. So this weekend, this Sunday morning from 10:30 to 12, I think. Am I right, producer? Yes, 10:30 to 12. There was 2 times right now.
Isn't the channel going to be covering that a little bit?
Yeah. So Sunday morning, if you're at home for Easter Sunday, turn on WTNB right here, Channel 5. And join us. We'll have a wonderful program. So, now, the things
that matter. Now, we're going to do a shortened version. We don't have much time left in the show, but there are some things that I wanted to kind of bring to your attention here, Matt. First was, and this is a remarkable story, a guy by the name of Robert Biggs, 69 years old. Robert Biggs. He was watching a family of black bears.
Okay.
Watching a family of black bears.
Right.
And in Northern California, and he was watching the mother and the baby bears and the whole thing, and they're cute and they're cuddly. And then he just turned and continued on his hike. He was just hiking. He thought he was safe.
Right.
He was not. As he'd been watching the bears, about 40 feet away from himself, which is dangerous already, he had no idea that he was being stalked by a ferocious mountain lion. As he turned to leave, the cat pounced on his backpack with all 4 paws.
Oh my goodness.
And then a blur on the left side, his left side, because he got flipped over and he had a little axe and some things. On his left side, a blur came in and grabbed the lion by the throat and ripped him away from Robert. It was the mama bear. The mama bear ripped the lion off. They had a fight, and
Is this true?
He said, yes, it's true. He said he heard a tremendous screeching and some growling noises, and then after about 15 seconds, the cat ran away. The cat ran away, and the bear went back down on all 4s.
That's amazing.
Made eye contact with him, and then regrouped with their young. And it walked away, and he got away.
That's once a mama bear, always a mama bear.
I thought that was fantastic.
That's Sarah Pan.
One more?
Sure,
one more. Mega Millions?
Yes.
Largest in history, 640 million.
Crazy.
The odds of winning were, did you know this? 1 in 167 million.
Wow.
Odds of dating a supermodel?
Yeah.
1 in 880,000.
Wow, much better odds.
Being struck by lightning? 1 in 2.3 million.
Wow.
Still better odds.
Yeah.
Achieving sainthood, which is probably not likely for either one of you, of us here, you or I.
No.
1 in 20 million. Marrying a millionaire,
Yeah.
which these people are millionaires now. 1 in 215.
1 in 215.
I know, right? So what I would do is just marry a millionaire.
Yeah.
Because then you'd get it. You don't need to play the lottery. Catching a foul ball.
Okay.
Baseball season just starting. 1 in 563.
Yeah, man, I got a story about a foul ball I'll tell you sometime.
1 in 10 million. Becoming president of the United States.
Wow.
So all of those things more likely than winning Mega Millions.
Wow.
And those are the things that matter.
We did the shortened version, which just means next week's going to be all that much better. And I do want to say I appreciate you. Noticed you went paperless.
Paperless. We are trying to save the environment.
That's awesome.
By using all the energy and all the material necessary to make this from Apple, who doesn't pay their workers.
I did see that
You saw
story
that too?
as well. That's not good. So, for all you mama bears out there, We appreciate you watching today.
Absolutely.
We had some great guests. Jill Singerman and Sarah Anderson both did a fantastic job and tolerated us.
If anyone has a tickle stick out there, I am interested.
Thanks for joining us Tuesday morning. Join us every morning here on WTNB, Channel 5 for your morning news, information, and probably most importantly, entertainment. Everyone have a wonderful week. We hope to see you right back here next Tuesday.